Hello everyone and welcome back to Mordheim Madness. We are here yet again, this time for the losers bracket round 4, also known as the semi-finals of the losers bracket, where we're gonna look at Faro85 taking on Slaviour. Faro85 playing as the mercenaries, Slaviour as the undead. We're gonna follow this game from Slaviour's perspective, and I think it's gonna be a really nice game. Slaviour is definitely out for revenge here. In the previous tournament, these two players started out in the same group, and Faro85 actually did beat Slaviour. His heavy ranged warband did get a very range favored map, and he crushed him. Gonna see if it's gonna be the same here. This middle bridge is a much closer map. You could get with all of the units starting in melee from the beginning. That will definitely not favor 485. You could also have 3 groups of 3, and as well something a little bit like Rivals in the Ruins. But no matter where you end up, this is gonna be a map where you could engage on turn 1, and that should definitely favor Slaviour here. 485 needs to put in some real effort here and use choke points to get ahead here. I hear that they're about to start, so let's just jump into the game and wish both players good luck. And here we go, rating 4188 against 3917. It's probably not unimpressive from 5 anyway, since he never really does play with that. Both warbands spread opposite ends of the map and prepare to face each other's warband. This is going to be really fun. Excuse me for the XSplit Gamecast and XSplit watermark. They come from Slaviour, who did record this particular game. Let's start out really quickly here before this get along here and take a look at the playoff table. You can see that whoever goes up here is gonna face off in the losers bracket final against the loser of Hole Poker and Talon. Also a very interesting game to follow. But now let's follow this particular game here. See the classic 5 zombies, 2 necromancers going up for Slaviour. Seems to be a Globadier as well. Really high with the initiative here. And that's going to be very favorable. You can see that 485 has also tried to boost his initiative, knowing that initiative is the key on this particular map. Of course, I think that's going to be a really big advantage here. Excuse the sounds, it's apparently some Steam messages that Slaviour is getting. One of the main advantages here for Slaviour is that he does have Call of Vanhel, and Call of Vanhel can be used on the Vampire and if there is a Vampire Thrall, yeah, there is a Vampire Thrall, so both of them could get plus 20 initiative boost here to get ahead of the units of 485. Could be very useful. Gonna see, I think he also usually tries at least to use Stimulus, so maybe we can see that from Slaviour as well. I think one of his necromancers has that. Also gives 485 some room here to jump across in the initiative ladder. I'm betting all of these Steam messages, they actually Clyde messing up. It's always Clyde, isn't it? You can take a look at the top left corner of the map here, and we see that Slaviour has 162 morale, 485 has 190. And I think that actually does favor Slaviour quite a bit. Since he's playing as the undead, and all of the 5 zombies, they don't remove any morale if they do go down, meaning that you need to kill almost every single unit in Slaviour's warband for him to rout, while 485 you don't need to kill as many. Looks to be something like 6 characters we need to kill. You can see the entire warband here almost from 485. 3 warriors. We don't see the leader yet, but we do know that he tends to use a captain as well as a smuggler for the last hero. Yeah, this could be a really good shot here with the poison. Doesn't have poison expert, so we see that. Yeah, we see a captain here. Wow, very good start. Can I get off a bit more? Something that I've learned as a caster here, watching games from, for example, with some of Uddova's games, is that, and Marcus Kane especially too, especially that game when they do face each other, is that you can only ever get one single poison tick, no matter how many clouds you run into, it seems like. I could be wrong about that too, but I seem to remember that they have run into a few of these clouds and they only seem to get one tick, and I warned for several ticks, but it's only just one tick. Maybe there needs to be a second Globadier for there to be 2 ticks. If you run into one separate for each of them. Here we go, Call of Vandal going off. Boosting up the zombies, getting movement 9. And they could probably reach whatever target they want. It would be a good idea to get them to attack any of the ranged targets here. Gonna see the smuggler come up here soon. Here we see Stimulus in action. Boosting the Vampire Thrall. Remember, she was at 75, I think. She's gonna be 95, and the Vampire is also not that far afterwards. And either one of them could get a secondary boost here, since if you do get Call of Vandal on any of them, then you will have jumped up 20 initiative due to Stimulus, and then plus 20 initiative again due to Call of Vandal, and then you get 2 turns in a row. That's gonna be really hazardous to some of the units of Faro85 here. You should be able to see that right away on the minimap. Whenever he sees the units, he will see what kind of initiative they will have on the next turn, so he knows what's going on. And he can also see that in the buffs, so he should know this, and he should be careful of where he places his ranged units, because they're going to be really juicy and Slaviour's going to want to get into them. He's already tracking the smuggler here. I wonder if she... yeah, it looks like she's actually boosted herself with double daggers. That's even more detrimental, because she needs to shoot, since she's gonna switch to a weapon that lowers her initiative. And... yeah... no, not even double daggers, just a single dagger and an empty hand, which gives the same. Oh, she needs to be careful. Why is she going this far? I'm guessing, yes, she does want to shoot, but that's definitely a big mistake here by Faro85, I think. Didn't even switch his weapons. Yeah, she's definitely within reach. Oh my god. Gonna see Call of Vandal here on the last zombie. Followed by Call of Vandal on both of the Vampire Thrall and the Vampire, no doubt. 77, that's 97. Yeah, that's gonna be... he's gonna go above everyone if he gets it. Or there will be some damage focus. Yeah, probably thought he could shoot from that position. one of the great advantages of magics. You don't always do enough damage with it, and Slaviour realizes that here with his unit, and he wants to shoot instead. It's less of a risk, but this usually you do more damage. But this is why magic has its upsides. You can reach them into corners where you cannot usually do any shooting. Such a wasted turn on the smuggler here. I'm fearing for what will happen to her once the zombies get rolling, and I think at least one of them will get to her, and what will happen then? Can she disengage from that? She's gonna take some damage here. Can he reach? I probably can, that's why he's moving back and forth. Or does he need a longbow? Yeah, he needed a longbow. And he's using a regular bow. It's a... This is definitely a map favored for Slaviour. I mean, Faro85, if he wants to win this, he really needs to do some bottlenecking here. I have fond memories of this particular map myself, and I know that the only chance a warband like this with Faro's ranged damage dealers can do any good is if they are actually protected throughout the game. Well, that could be interesting. Armor fled, -3 movement for these units. This is gonna be good. That's exactly what he needs. Can he target more units with that? To make sure that they cannot reach the smuggler, for instance. Going with lightning strike instead. Probably the best damage spell in the game. Single targets. It's just very efficient. As it is, you can start casting right away. Unlike Burning Blood, you don't have much of a drawback with it, and it's efficient since Comet of Sigmar. Yes, it only costs 2 red pills compared to 3 for the lightning strike. However, it ends out perfectly since you can only get you only start with 9 red pills anyway, and that means you have less of a Sench Curse chance or Divine Rat. I can see they can reach really far. 9 movement still. You can see a little that's definitely a black powder trap, no? Can he evade that? Yeah, he can. Oh, that's not a good position, Faro. Just there with the dagger. Yeah, this is a really poor position. I wonder if there is another zombie that could maybe get up and surround her. It's possible, but she might not even be able to disengage from that like it is. It seems like she has space around there, but part of her circle is blocked. And that's usually a big telltale sign that you will not get a disengage. And the Warlock is also a tempting target, especially since he did some damage over there. Forehand. This also wants to reach the Marksman if he can. Yeah, that's gonna be the end here for Santia Tassoson. Not really a great start for Faro85. To be fair, I think he brought this on himself. One of the zombies here is affected by Armor of Lead, -3 movement. Also wants to avoid. No, he's gonna trigger the black powder trap. Wow, we need to get really close. The key for Slaviour's Vampire Thrall and Vampire coming up here is that they want to be paired to someone that has a lower initiative than themselves right now. Like you see, the Vampire is gone up to 77 for the next turn, and he really wants to get into the Captain or the Warrior, and of the Warriors here, or the Wolf Priest. That would have been perfect targets for him. He would have gotten his turn of attacks off, and then a second round in the next turn, potentially killing that target. Most of 485's warbans coming up. You could shoot at the zombie. Possibly. Because there should be some space here, and you should be able to because you had free line of sight down to these from the zombie's point of view. Should be able to shoot up at him at a -10% hit chance. And they only had around 300 wounds left, so it could be a really good choice. I also started to wonder here if 485 with his Warlock, maybe he does have this spell available, and the spell will be so useful in this particular scenario, and it seems like the Warband might be built a little bit around that. The spell is this spell that takes away all of the magical effects within 5 meters around the casters, or 10 meters even if you have it mastered. And usually that's not that great for... why do that? Only 10% chance. It's not that great usually for the mercenaries, because they tend to want to use these kind of things themselves, specifically from the Warrior Priest. But now we only have a Wolf Priest, and while he does have some good buffs, like Winter's Chill or Ulrich's Gift, the spell would be really useful in casting Call of Vanhal on every single unit here. There's nothing up here, right? Oh, the Warlock. The Warlock is gonna get it. Yeah. The power of exhaustion. That's unfortunate. Doesn't have too many wounds either. But at least I don't think the Vampire Thrall goes ahead of the Warlock. He's about to check here, isn't he? Yeah, the Warlock is 91. Yeah, this is very well planned out by Slaviour. He got exactly the target that he wanted. Remember when I did talk about this? Someone that he could go ahead of in the next turn. And that's exactly what's going to happen here. Hey, that doesn't matter. He's gonna get another full round of attacks against this Warlock, and that's gonna kill him. Unfortunate, I think the Warlock would have been really useful. That's one of the units that he needed in this fight. Needs to be careful of the ambush here. There is an ambush and he should see it. He does. Where does he want to go now? Yeah, if you're annoyed by the blips all the time, you can just yell at Clyde. Pretty sure that should be him. This was a really poor target for the captain here. The captain is one of those few targets that really need to get into a high-profile target, since you have a Master Web of Steel on him, which makes it very, very bad to attack right into a captain. Which means that you want something that's really dangerous to be forced to fight the captain, so they have to try and get past his free Web of Steel counterattacks, and then he does damage himself on the following turns. That's the ideal target for a captain. Getting into a zombie basically negates the use of Web of Steel, since that zombie he will never attack again. He will just sit there in Web of Steel tying up the captain. It would have been a good choice. Now he'll do a little bit of damage every now and then whenever the captain decides to attack. So probably doesn't want to stay in that fight. Unless he can get some real muscle help. Should probably disengage from that fight. Should go into somewhere else. Don't know what the warrior's deal is here. Who is he after? Yeah, he's trying here, but the Wolf Priest is also going to lose a lot of his initiative here. You can see that he's also boosting it with a dagger and probably a free hand for plus 20. No, double daggers even. Probably not gonna use that. Very nice spell. I kind of like this. It does a bit of damage, yes, but it's not as great as lightning, obviously, as you can see. Roughly 33% less, but you do remove some strategy points. It's not stackable in that sense, but can really help. Especially when you target it on a henchman like this, since they only have 6 blue pills. Removing 3 of them makes them unable to use one of their power stances, like Web of Steel, which this zombie has, or Sidestep or Defensive Stance, since those stances cost 4 blue pills. And no, it doesn't actually even count. Like if you do happen to have meditation or exhaustion or something that does give you an extra blue pills, you still cannot use that kind of stance, since it removes the maximum amount available at any time. So you can only ever have you can only ever have 3 of them. You need to do a charge. You only have 3 blue pills, and that means that if you use exhaustion, you will just take damage. You will not even get a blue pill, since you haven't used one of them. That's a bit lucky. Isn't this the character that has the exact same initiative as the Tyrant? I think so. I think they are both on 77. It's gonna be random, whoever starts the next turn. Yeah, I have to say it doesn't look too great for Faro85 so far. We always knew he was going to be a big underdog in this fight, but very poor move there with the Smuggler. The Warlock got caught. It's like he moved up all of his damage units to the front so that they could be butchered and caught before his heavy units could interfere and block off any access points. He should really have kept his cool for the first turn. This was definitely a mistake by Faro85, and I think he's gonna be punished for this. Alright, alright. Yeah, that dispel would have been so fantastic. So fantastic. If only. I don't get this move. Like, why move in with the champion here? What is the objective? Why move in against one of the zombies? You have tied down the zombie with one of your warriors. Like, are you really trying to kill that? He needs to get towards a necromancer or something. Could possibly gone up the stairs and help out against... just held down a zombie up there. Yeah, I don't know.
A new round has started.
Is this gonna be pain? Pain and misery coming up? I feel some units have suffered here, but probably wants to get at the Smuggler before it's her turn. I mean, it's not like she can do much anyway. She's caught between 2 of the zombies, but... oh yeah, freeing up the Vampire against that Marksman could also be a decent choice, or just doing damage to some units that are annoying. Yeah, going for the Marksman. Good choice, I think. Taking an early lead. Might he kill something else? It looked like he could actually kill the Smuggler too, right? Yeah, he definitely can kill the Smuggler. 80% chance. or getting more damage from Gottfried, but Gottfried's gonna die because of the... Yeah, there we go. 2-0 lead. That dagger and shield is not gonna do him too much. He probably has some shurikens available to him that he can use. Yeah, you're stuck a little bit on the edge. Fine. So what can he do here? We do see that he has the healing globe available to him. Oh, that's interesting. He seems to have... Yeah, he has mastered bullseye here, so it's plus 30% chance to hit with aim instead of 20%, and aim costs 1 blue pill less. But I was more interested in the ability here to switch weapons that quickly. That is a pretty useful skill. It's called Quick Draw. Should probably look it up. Really want to succeed in one of these poison checks. I can't really understand it. Why would you go for Warplock pistols as such? Like, if you had Poison Expert, they would help with the Warlock pistols. They're a natural choice with the Poison Expert. Maybe he feels that they can do slightly more damage for the same amount of reload cost. It's really nice here with the warp ammo if you can actually do some decent damage. Probably better to focus on Gottfried Mason here. I think he blocked himself out. Carl von Mortborg, okay. It's a strange target considering the magic resistance here at 35. But yeah, there we go. It was bound to happen at least once. Or twice. I should have gone for Gottfried. I feel like you should have gone for Gottfried. Another really nice thing here with Steel Life for the Necromancers is that they can freely use Exhaustion and normal Adrenaline Rush whenever they want, because just two successful casts and damages on any target will heal you up from this damage. While for most other casters it lingers and makes them more and more vulnerable. Gonna see a third kill here. Oh, so useful Warlock that was really needed. It's about to go down. One more hit. There will be 2 heroes and 1 henchman down for Faro85. See a white healing. 45 hasn't gotten all of the consumables that he needed for this game. Most likely if he carries a white healing. Should have been blue. So another thing that we need to figure out before the next season, I feel like. That just makes things a bit more uneven. This could be good, supporting the zombie here. Or even locking down the Wolf Priest. That's also an option. He can take a lot of hits though, 394 wounds. Don't think she wants to use Adrenaline Rush, does she? To protect against the Frostbite? Yeah, that's odd. It's not like... yeah, that's really odd. I mean, it's still the parry you have to look out for here. You can see that the zombie has lost 3 blue pills, so no matter what he does, he can never get more than 3 blue pills at the same time, meaning he can never use his fantastic weapon of steel. But why fight into this? Like, the zombie, he can just sit there. It's the captain that needs to attack. I don't approve of this. And don't use Adrenaline Rush to take more damage. Flee gets you a little bit further than disengage. Probably what Slaviour wanted at that particular point. I wonder what Faro85 can do here. Like, his 2 most damaging heroes here have already gone down. And to boot, he lost a ranged henchman as well. Meaning he only has these tanky units, and they're good at soaking up damage, yes. But they don't do too much damage, and that's gonna be a real big problem here for Faro85. He's gonna get whittled down now, especially by the 2 necromancers that can just roam around and do as much damage as they want, picking off a target a turn at the very least. That was lucky, really lucky. Should have 1 more parry left. Okay, he didn't have 1. 72 damage, that was really nice though. Really cool. Wants to cycle in the other zombie here as well. Do you really want to stand here? That's unfortunate, could have seen the death of the captain. Adrenaline Rush for a second attack. I wonder if that was actually meant to be a delay. Could just have used Flee here again to get the vampire in there. Probably is best going into level steel here. Doesn't actually need to attack. All his targets will attack into him. Unless one of these units don't have a stance, it could be good, but they do have a stance. It's a poor choice by Slaviour. But it doesn't seem like he's gonna lose this. I don't see where the damage is going to come from Faro85 now. He relies a lot on that smuggler, and yeah, should have known. You will jump them too far. Could go downstairs and into the captain. Or get into the wolf priest from behind, also an option. I saw the marksman here and he wants to get at him. Can he do that? Yes, he can. Locking down any kind of range damage that Faro has available to him, and that's very detrimental to Faro85's hopes of winning this game. Wow, yeah, that's not really had too much luck here. Both of the marksmen has been stunned on very low chances. Might even see adrenaline rush here and another attack, which might be able to kill the marksman if he scores a critical, I think. Doesn't score a critical. Ouch. Yeah, seems to be a very quick road stop here for Slaviour. Faro85 is not really putting up much of a fight, and I think even though Faro85 seems to have changed his warband a little bit for this tournament, and he has reached quite far, which is good for him, he doesn't change up his warband too much. He's very static. He makes a single warband and it sticks with that for the rest of the tournament, and that makes him very predictable. The players do talk to each other about, oh, what did this guy bring against you, and so forth and so forth, and they have a rough clue of what's coming up here. And if they have watched any of these games, if they were released early by the allowance of the players, they will also know a little bit of information. You can use that to your advantage and switch it up, and some of the better players, they always do. But Faro85, he has been read as predictable, and it's really not going his way here. Slaviour has done the right thing. Focused entirely. Wow, 43, that's not that bad. Ah, the incessant bleeping. So let's do a little damage. Almost non-existent. You can see the issue that Faro85 has right now. Like, he doesn't do any real damage with these units. They're just they're I'm being tanky. They don't do too much. It's gonna be Faro85's second loss in this tournament. He did lose to Karond, and that was again, it's unfortunately not recorded, but I managed to see some part of it. It was Karond using the choke points pretty well, and then Faro85 just quit the game. He lost like 2 or 3 units, and then he just quit, and then it ended up as a 10-0. So he has a tendency to quit. I've seen that previously as well. And he might do the same here. I mean, he doesn't have much of a chance left. Could maybe get Powell, but not many other things. So ignore pain here. Didn't seem like the mastered version either. Guardstan's master at least. Yeah, we have another zombie that is about to maybe die off here. It doesn't quite make it. It's almost there, but not really. Okay, let's see. 68, can you do it? Ah, that's so unlucky. He needed to get something, and since he has 3 units to this zombie, that was just... Well, what can you do? This might be Slaviour's tournament. He looks almost unstoppable here. Well, I mean, he's definitely done mistakes. He's done mistakes in this game. You can see small little details here and there that makes for inefficient trades, but he's making good targeting choices and punishing players like Faro85. Wow, he might lose the leader here. There's not gonna be much left if he loses the leader. Yeah, concentration is good. Making sure that you do get these spells off when they are worth a whole lot. Could actually get a Wordstone here and get the next spell slightly cheaper and also reduce the curse chance. People always think in the way of making spells cheaper with this particular ability for the Necromancers, more opportune, but it's also that you do remove curse chance by minus 10%, and that's really useful. Yeah. Why don't you go back and target the... There you go. Makes it a clean 5-0 right now. Only the Wolf Priest left. Right? Oh no, the champion is left as well. I wonder who... This is something that you need to take into account if you do play the Mercenaries or anyone that's used to Wolf Priest, is that you get the plus 35% to get to pass route test, but only if you have the highest lead. Alright, so here we go, just a straight 10-0. Thank you for watching. You will be following Slaviour's approach here, going against Hole Poker or Talon. Hope you enjoyed the game, and see you later.